Tampa Bay Buccaneers preview here at FTN. Only person to go to is Greg Auman on Twitter at Greg Auman. He covers the NFC South for Fox Sports. Does an amazing job. I've talked to him so many times. 10 minutes. He will give you incredible information. Greg, let's kick it off. Quarterback position. Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. Is there really a competition here? And could Trask win or be a factor later this year?
I mean, they'll say it's a competition. I think it's certainly Baker Mayfield's job to lose. I think they're worried about interceptions. Baker Mayfield has as many as any quarterback in the NFL since he's been in the league. So he's got to keep those in check. That's the easiest way for him not to win this job. But he has such a big advantage in experience and leadership. Took the Browns to the playoffs, won a playoff game there. Kyle Trask has 9 career passes. So it's just really hard. He would have to significantly outplay Baker Mayfield. And if anything, I think Baker would have to actively lose the job in preseason for Trask to pull it off. So yes, it's competition, but Baker would be a heavy favorite.
Let's look in the backfield now. Rachaad White, this is someone in the fantasy world here, Greg, that we are really targeting because he projects as having a huge volume in the backfield, and he's caught a lot of passes last year. Is that really the case? Are there other players who could work in, or do you think they really are going to give it to Rachaad White to start the season?
Yeah, right now he looks like a strong number one. Worst run game in the NFL last year in yards per game and yards per carry. They let Leonard Fournette go. He's still unsigned. But yeah, they certainly have made it clear they want White to be the number one. The backups aren't a ton of good options. Keyshawn Vaughn barely played last year. They have an undrafted rookie named Sean Tucker who's intriguing, but hasn't even practiced yet. So I would think he is a big share. Like you said, both in the run game and the pass game. It'd be really easy for him to have Fournette's numbers in terms of 70-plus catches. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Doug Martin, so it's been a while. I do think this new offense with Dave Canales will be a lot more effective in the run. They just weren't a good running team last year, and some of that's offensive line injuries. They'll be healthier there. I don't know how much better they'll be, but having a healthy Ryan Jensen at center would be a big step towards having a better run game for sure.
Yeah, the offensive line being better would help because Mayfield has elite weapons here. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin. Mike Evans, 9 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more receiving. He's looking at Jerry Rice's record. How do you see the passing game working here with those two guys? Because 2 of the best receivers, you look at a duo, one of the best in the NFL here with Evans and Godwin. How do you see this season playing out with them with Baker?
Yeah, from a fantasy standpoint, it's intriguing because Evans had a down year. Only had 3 touchdowns if you take away the Carolina game last year. It was disappointing in that regard. I think Godwin is the guy that will lead the team in catches and in yards. I'm curious to see how the touchdown breaks down. I think they both can be better than they were last year. This was a bad red zone offense. Again, I think it's hard to think about losing Tom Brady and getting better in the pass game, but from a touchdown standpoint, they definitely can. I would think Evans gets the team lead in touchdowns, but I think Godwin will probably set the team record in catches. They're going to use him outside and not as much in the slot. They're the 2 relevant fantasy players on this Bucs team for sure. It's just a matter of whether Evans gets those touchdowns back to double-digit elite levels that he had for a bunch of years there.
You know, coming off of last year, Travis Kelce, of course, best tight end, outstanding numbers. So a lot of fantasy drafters like to look late in the draft. Cade Otton is a guy that I've gotten a lot of shares of in best ball only because I think he's solid at this position. You look at Baker, you look at where he's going to hit the short to intermediate targets, and Otton is basically free. Is he locked in as the tight end one? And do you think he can take another step forward this year at the tight end position for the Bucs?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, they like Cade Otton. Showed a lot as a rookie. It's a tough position to break in and have productive numbers, but he did. He'll play a ton. They don't have a lot else at the position. Cam Brate is gone. Kyle Rudolph is gone. Another second-year guy in Keith, who's more of a blocking tight end. They drafted a guy in the 5th round in Payne Durham. So it's just not a lot of competition there. I think he'll be on the field a ton. Baker Mayfield has used his tight ends well. This is an offense. If you look at what Dave Canales did with tight ends in Seattle, a ton of double tight ends, a ton of tight end usage in Seattle in this same kind of offense last year. So no, I think it's really easy for Cade Otton to get to 50 catches and 600 yards. I'm curious whether it's 5 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns, how he fits into the red zone, because he's a guy that had some really big catches down by the goal line last year, just not volume. And I think that's where he can take a big step forward.
Greg, great stuff as always. We'll get you out of here. Last question. We're heading into preseason. Rookies are reporting. You know, training camps are open. Things are moving quickly. We love the preseason here at FTN. We love seeing those players, rookies or other players who just joined the team, who are 1 or 2 guys, offense or defense, a player that we should keep our eye on here that you think can make, you know, an impact for Tampa Bay either right away or later in the year. 1 or 2, offense, defense. Who are some names you're hearing and players we should watch out for?
Yeah, the intriguing one on offense is probably Sean Tucker, who's an undrafted rookie back from Syracuse, had a medical flag at the combine. A lot of people had him as a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, went undrafted. Bucs still gave him like $200,000 guaranteed. So I think he can make this roster. Again, it starts with him being healthy. I'm expecting him to be cleared to practice next week. But it wouldn't take that much for him to elevate and be a number 2 back for them. Does a little bit of everything. He's a power runner. Defensively, there's 2 guys I'll name. Kalijah Cansey is their 1st round pick. He's a guy that helps immediately in the defensive line as an interior pass rusher. Same size, build, makeup as Aaron Donald. It's a silly parallel to make for any player, but he went to Pitt. And I think he's somebody who can be disruptive for them inside. Outside, they have a guy named Yaya Diaby from Louisville. They could use some depth in their pass rush. Shaq Barrett comes back healthy. Joe Tryon should be a better player this year. But he's a guy who could sneak in and be a 3rd down guy and really help them. So those are the 2 names on defense I think could really help them.
Folks, you need insight here in the NFC South. You go to Greg Auman on Twitter at Greg Auman, reports for Fox Sports. He's done work for The Athletic in the past, knows so much here, especially about Tampa Bay. Greg, thank you so much for a few minutes. I know you're busy. We're excited. We're under 50 days to the start of the NFL season on September 7th. Chiefs and Lions. Thanks so much for a few minutes. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks again. Take care, Mike.